Introduction. The Cuban Missile Crisis, a pivotal moment in 1962, brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. This 13-day confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union centered around the discovery of Soviet missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from American shores. The historical significance of this crisis cannot be overstated, as it marked a critical point in Cold War tensions. Imagine if the situation had escalated into a full-blown nuclear war. What would the world look like today? Understanding these alternate historical outcomes is crucial, as it helps us grasp the delicate balance of power and the importance of diplomacy in preventing catastrophic conflicts. Background of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis was rooted in escalating geopolitical tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Following the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, Cuba, under Fidel Castro, sought support from the Soviet Union, leading to the placement of nuclear missiles on the island. In October 1962, U.S. reconnaissance flights revealed these missiles, prompting a swift response from President John F. Kennedy. He faced the daunting task of addressing this direct threat to national security while navigating the complex relationship with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev. The decisions made by these key figures would ultimately shape the course of history and global relations for decades to come. Escalation to nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis teetered on the edge of nuclear conflict due to critical miscommunications and misunderstandings between the US and the Soviet Union. Both sides operated under immense pressure, leading to hasty decisions that could have escalated tensions. For instance, the US naval blockade of Cuba was perceived by the Soviets as an act of aggression, heightening the risk of military confrontation. Additionally, military strategies, such as the readiness of nuclear forces, created a volatile atmosphere. Global allies also played a significant role. Countries like China and NATO members could have influenced the crisis, potentially drawing more nations into a conflict. Understanding these dynamics highlights how close the world came to disaster. Immediate consequences of nuclear war. Had the Cuban Missile Crisis escalated into nuclear war, the immediate aftermath would have been catastrophic. Major cities like Washington, D.C. and Moscow would face unprecedented destruction, with millions of lives lost in an instant. The impact on military and civilian infrastructure would be devastating, crippling essential services and leaving survivors in chaos. Hospitals, transportation systems, and communication networks would be obliterated, making recovery nearly impossible. The psychological effects on survivors would be profound, leading to widespread trauma and despair. Globally, the community would grapple with the horror of nuclear fallout, fostering fear and distrust among nations. This grim scenario underscores the importance of diplomacy in averting such a disaster. Long-term global impact. The long-term effects of a nuclear war resulting from the Cuban Missile Crisis would have profoundly reshaped global politics and society. International relations would undergo significant changes, with nations re-evaluating alliances and power dynamics in a world marked by fear and distrust. The potential for nuclear proliferation would increase, as countries might rush to develop their own arsenals, igniting new arms races. This heightened tension could lead to a fragmented global order, with nations prioritizing military strength over diplomacy. Culturally and socially, a post-war world would experience shifts in values as communities grappled with loss and trauma. The collective memory of nuclear devastation would likely foster a strong anti-war sentiment, influencing future generations. Lessons learned. Reflecting on the hypothetical scenario of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis reveals crucial lessons for today. First and foremost, the importance of diplomacy and open communication in crisis situations cannot be overstated. Misunderstandings can escalate tensions, making dialogue essential for conflict resolution. Additionally, the need for nuclear disarmament and robust peacekeeping efforts is paramount to prevent future catastrophes. As we navigate current global tensions, it's vital for viewers to think critically about the implications of military posturing and the potential for escalation. By learning from the past, we can advocate for a more peaceful world, emphasizing cooperation over conflict and prioritizing humanity's collective safety. Conclusion. In summary, the hypothetical scenario of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis highlights the critical importance of diplomacy, communication, and the need for nuclear disarmament. We explored how miscommunications could have led to catastrophic consequences, the long-term global impacts of such a conflict, and the lessons we can learn to prevent future wars. Understanding history is essential in shaping a more peaceful future, as it allows us to recognize the stakes involved in international relations. If you found this discussion insightful, please subscribe, like, and share this video for more engaging content. Together, we can foster awareness and promote dialogue about the pressing issues that affect our world today.